Today we're going to take a look at adding a loan account into the system and creating the amortization schedule. You can see I'm in my Aculoan workspace and on my loan account list here. I have a new loan already started that happens to be a loan for a vehicle. We're going to go ahead and open this up. When this loads, you'll see that some of the information has already been populated as I started this loan. But let's take a look at the header details. We have our loan ID and our business account, which is our customer or our vendor, our loan class. Aculoan runs on a set of different loan classes that are configured by each organization. You can see I have term loans selected. And the system can handle both debtor and creditor types of loans at the same time without any major modifications. We have our loan description here, as well as the different statuses within Aculoan. All loans start in that status 5 open. They can move through this workflow here and eventually become active once we have a few things added, which I will do next. In our summary information here, we have our branch and transaction set ID. So our transaction set ID is a group of transactions and their associated debit and credit accounts. Our dates here, the date of the loan, as well as our payment settings and statement information. Information associated to the loan will pre-fill in here once I add in an amortization schedule. If I go ahead here and look at the amortization tab, I can populate a new schedule in the system. Some of our details pre-filled, like our loan number, an amortization number will be created upon the save. Statuses of the loan here, which can be sort of a workflow for an approval process, will start in draft. Our amortization type, our interest method, and our many payment frequencies right in the system. So I'm going to go ahead and add a loan for $100,000. There'll be no deposit or initiation fee, but we're going to give this a 5.5% interest rate over a 72-month term. We have our amortization dates here along the top, our commencement date, when should the loan start, and when should that first installment be. So I can go ahead and save here at the top, and a few fields will start to lock. Upon saving, I can now use my ellipsis or 3 dots at the top to calculate the information in the amortization schedule. So we can see that in the first month, the first installment date is July. We have an opening balance with some interest that carried over from the previous month, our full installment, which is broken down into principal and interest, and then what our new closing balance is. If we agree to this, we can go ahead and save, and we'll also accept the loan and corresponding amortization schedule. If I go ahead and go back here to my loan screen, you can see we now have an amortization schedule. That means we need to add a disbursement. So let's go ahead and add our initial disbursement. For the purposes of this demo, my transaction reference and description aren't very descriptive, but you may use something different. I'm going to add that same amount of $100,000 that we used for the amortization schedule. And then we have our debits and credits that have populated from those transaction sets that we have set up. I can go ahead and save. Now that we have our amortization and our disbursement added, we can change our status to active. And from here, this will allow us to initiate the loan. Upon initiation, this is going to create that first transaction for $100,000 that will post to the general ledger. Under the transaction here, you can see we have that $100,000, the corresponding debit and credit information, as well as that GL batch number, which I spoke about. Any other transactions necessary for the month would be added here. Maybe you have fees or services that you charge on your loans, you accept a payment every month, or you make a payment every month. That would be posted here on the loan account before the interest is run at the end of each month. Before we close, I'm going to go ahead and go to the journal transactions in our finance workspace. You can see here on my list of journal transactions, we have a description for a transaction of the loan account we were just working on in that description here. If I go ahead and open up this batch number, we can see the postings for our debit and credit amount to those accounts that we currently have set up with our transaction codes. If you have any other questions about Aculoan, please let me know, and I'm happy to do a further demo or a presentation for you. Thank you. Have a good day.